Sahaj Vidhi www.sahajvidhi.in. Question 1. Discuss the law on extradition. The procedure for granting asylum and approving extradition requests differ significantly. Explain. Model answer. The law on extradition governs the formal surrender of an individual by one state, the requested state, to another state, the requesting state, for prosecution or punishment for a crime. It is a crucial mechanism in international criminal justice, ensuring that criminals cannot escape justice simply by crossing national borders. Extradition is primarily based on bilateral treaties between states, although some countries may extradite based on reciprocity or domestic law. Principles of extradition law. 1. Dual criminality. The offense for which extradition is sought must be a crime in both the requesting and the requested states. This ensures that a person is not extradited for an act that is not considered criminal in the asylum state. 2. Specialty. The extradited person can only be prosecuted or punished for the specific offenses for which extradition was granted, and not for any other crimes committed before their surrender, unless the requested state consents. 3. Non-extradition of political offenders. Traditionally, states refuse to extradite individuals for purely political offenses. However, this principle has been significantly eroded, especially concerning terrorism, which is often excluded from the definition of a political offense for prima facie case in many jurisdictions. The requesting state must present sufficient evidence to establish a prima facie case, i.e., enough evidence to justify a trial against the individual in the requested state's courts. 5. Human rights safeguards. Extradition may be refused if there is a risk that the individual would face torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, or the death penalty unless assurances are given in the requesting state. Procedure for extradition. An extradition request typically originates from the requesting state's executive branch, transmitted through diplomatic channels to the requested state. The process usually involves both judicial and executive stages. A court in the requested state first determines if the legal requirements for extradition are met. If the court finds the person extraditable, the final decision rests with the executive authority, e.g. Minister of Justice or Foreign Affairs, who may consider political or humanitarian factors. Significant differences. Asylum versus extradition. While both asylum and extradition involve states deciding on the fate of individuals within their territory, their purposes, legal bases, and procedures differ fundamentally. Key. 1. Purpose. Extradition serves the purpose of international criminal justice, ensuring that alleged criminals face trial or punishment. Asylum, conversely, is about providing protection to individuals fleeing persecution or serious harm in their home country. 2. Initiator. An extradition process is initiated by a state seeking the return of an individual. An asylum process is initiated by an individual seeking protection from a state. 3. Legal basis. Extradition is primarily governed by bilateral treaties and domestic extradition laws. Asylum is based on international human rights law, particularly the 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol, and domestic immigration refugee laws. For criteria for granting or approving for extradition, the criteria focus on the nature of the crime, evidence, dual criminality, and treaty obligations. For asylum, the criteria focus on the individual's well-founded fear of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. And the principle of non-refoulement, not assessing someone to a place where they face persecution. 5. Outcome. A extradition request results in surrender of the individual to the requesting state. A successful asylum claim results in the individual being granted protection, which may include refugee status, subsidiary protection, or temporary residency, preventing their return to the country of persecution. 6. Conflicting claims. A complex situation arises when an individual sought for extradition also claims asylum. In such cases, the asylum claim often takes precedence, and the state must first assess the risk of persecution. If the individual is found to be a refugee, the principle of non-refoulement generally prohibits their return, even if an extradition request exists, unless specific exceptions, e.g., serious non-political crime, national security threat, apply. This highlights the distinct humanitarian focus of asylum versus the criminal justice focus of extradition. Please visit our website www.sahajvidhi.in for more content.